even further beyond!
Yeah, my name is Zakashi, and in this video I'm bringing you a PvP tutorial that's going to take you from literally 0 to 100. If you learn everything that I'm showing you in this video, it's one thing but wrapped in many different ways. If you learn everything that I'm going to show you in this video, I promise that you will be one of the most dominant PvP players that there are. I'm dead serious. Once you master this, it's literally just about your decision making, and if you meet someone else that can do this, are you better than them? And that's literally it. But if you don't know how to do this, what I'm talking about is floating. If you don't know how to do this, then you're just watching everybody that plays Dragon Ball Legends go past you, because you're just lagging behind. You're not keeping up. Like, this is PvP tech that you have to know. So I'm gonna show you basically what it is. If you don't know, then we're gonna go into the various ways, and I'm not going to show all of the ways that it can be used, but once you learn how to do it, you can actually think about your own ways of implementing it into your PvP playstyle. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button on this grind to 15k at the time I'm recording this video. All my socials are on the left. This is the YouTube channel where we got Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link, all in the description below, so make sure to check me out on all of those. But yeah, man, like I said, this is going to be a very important PvP tutorial that will take you from 0 to 100, regular to elite. So yeah, I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. Let's actually get into the video now. Alright, so boom, like I said, I was gonna show you what floating is, and I'm going into the actual summoning section where you can try characters, because the Cybermen that they give there actually doesn't move or attack you in any way, shape or form. So it's a good little playground for me to actually just show you what I want to show you. So if you don't know what floating is, it's actually just by moving. So the way you can swipe left and right, you can go up and down. Instead of actually swiping all the way up, you just glide your thumb or finger, whatever you're using to play Dragon Ball Legends, slightly up, down, left and right, and that's it. But this has a big impact on how you actually move in the PvP battlefield. It could go from you actually faking out the enemy. It could go from you getting a perfect vanish. I'll make another specific video for perfect vanishes, because perfect vanishes are probably the most annoying thing to deal with. But if you're the one doing it and you're actually executing it well, there's actually a way for you to actually perfect vanish all the time. Well, it does take a bit of skill and some predicting, but it's very annoying to deal with, and there's just so much more that you can do with floating. If you face someone that floats in PvP, you probably know yourself how annoying it is to actually to deal with in PvP. You're probably thinking, hard, here we go, we got another try hard. But it's actually not that difficult to implement into your playstyle, and once you actually get used to doing it, you actually start trampling on people, and it's literally what I do all the time now. I even do it in co-op where the computer is, and I don't even need to. So yeah, now that you know what it is, let's actually get into showing you the various ways in which you can actually float in PvP to get one up on your opponent. Alright, so if you've watched any of my gameplays, you'll know that I always do this, especially when I start with a fusion team. So on my screen here, I have Kefla, and you're going to see how I'm actually fainting. So I'll play it like 3 times at normal speed, and I'll play it 3 times at slow-mo, so you can actually see I'm gliding forward, but not enough to the point where I move forward. And that makes it look like I'm actually going to begin my strike heart animation. But lots of people are actually very jumpy. So once they see you put your head forward a bit, they'd actually strike heart you to try clash it. Or maybe they'd vanish step or something like that. It depends on how it is in the situation. So at the start of the battle, especially other people that use fusion battle members like Kefla and whatnot, they are more hasty, like in terms of getting the strike hearts off, so it's easier to bait them than anybody else. Not everybody's gonna fall for this, but the fact that you can do this, it could actually help you get the one up. So just glide forward literally slightly, not too much to the point you move forward, but if you do that, you could actually fake them out so they try strike hearts and clash with you, so that you can actually get a perfect vanish and then just get the parry at the start of the battle. Another way I'm going to show you here is probably the most useful situation. So you guys have probably been in a situation where you and your opponent are like standing off after a vanish step. So let me give a predicament where your enemy has actually attacked you, you've vanish stepped, but now they're waiting to vanish step. So what you can do is actually glide, so it looks like you've begun a combo or something of that sorts. You'll see on the screen what I'm talking about. And then because they think you've attacked, they're going to try vanish step. They still have their vanish step. They attacked you at the start, but you've lost yours, so you probably switched out now. So now that you're going to attack them, it's about catching them when they're in between the sidestep animation. If you go too early, you probably allow them to vanish step, and now they've got the one up on you. If you go too late, they could still vanish step it on the next turn, or they could actually attack you straight away. But if you float slightly, you could actually trigger them to sidestep early, as they'd feel like you did some sort of movement. People are very hasty when they see movements. So especially in situations where you're just waiting, like you're standing off between like a sidestep and someone does their main ability, if you've been in that situation, it's actually very, very scary to be in that situation, because if you sidestep too early, you're actually just done. If you sidestep too late, you're still done either way. So you have to get perfect if you're on the enemy's view perspective. But on the screen, as you can see, there's many predicaments where I've actually just glided to the right and I've been in the position where I could vanish step, or I glided to the right or left regardless, and the enemy thought I did some sort of attack, so they sidestepped and I actually caught them. So it's just depending on the situation you're in. There's many different situations you could be in. Just think about it. So the little glide you can do could actually put them off so much. If the enemy is attacking you, the fact that you just glided just a tiny bit, that tiny little glide that you did, would actually make them attack early. So then you can actually get a perfect vanish and start your combo afterwards. If not a perfect vanish, you could just be in the clear of avoiding that attack, and then you'd be waiting for them to do their sidestep so you can catch them. Like it's so fun once you get it down packed, because you just know that the enemy is going to fall for it. That little feint to the side, left or right, even forward. Forward doesn't work that well, I find, because you don't really see the movement. But side or left or right, as in, them ones are real visible and really will give you that one up. So make sure to use the float in that situation. This last one here is a bit more difficult to pull off, but there's a lot more than this like situations that you face. But this one here is a lot more difficult to pull off. So you might see in some situations where people would actually float forward from long range, so they enter mid range and they'd actually strike arts, and that strike arts would come at you so fast you're thinking, what the hell, wasn't you just long range? But because of how they floated, it's kind of like the computer registers them as mid-range before they're actually at mid-range. So therefore, when they pull off the arts or the arts card, strike or ultimate or whatever, on the screen I'll have an example of the ultimate arts, they would be in the predicament where they actually would be thinking to do like a blast arts or something like that. So normally when people do blast arts at long range, it's easiest to dodge, just trying to bait out your vanish. But if you have a character with blast armor or ultimate arts that has blast armor, then you can actually just go straight through it. Or in situations where nobody's doing anything, even if you float forward and then you do a strike arts at mid range or a blast arts, it could come much faster than the enemy would be prepared for. So even if they do vanish step it, it'll probably be a very late one. But if they, more time they won't. I'm not gonna, if you do it right anyways, but I can't predict what will happen for you. But if you do it properly, more time they won't be able to vanish step it, because they won't be expecting it. Like, you floated forward that quickly, it didn't even look like you were close range, but then you got off the ultimate or the blast arts or the strike arts, and it felt to them that you was long range, but really you was mid range because of how you floated forward. Just to attach to that last point, there's other situations where I've used it. So like I said, floating forward and backwards for this point. In situations where I've vanish stepped, instead of actually waiting for them to actually tap attack me or something like that, I would actually back off. So you can actually float backwards or actually dash backwards. I find that floating backwards is probably the better option in most cases, because if you dash backwards, sometimes it doesn't let you because they're actually cancelling their blast arts. So you'd find that you're actually stuck in motion in that specific space. But then in some cases, you would be able to if you dash backwards, but floating backwards is more convenient for me anyway. That's what I've found. So I float backwards, and because they're trying to tap attack you, they'd be tap attacking the air, and if they tap more than once, they're stuck in that animation. There you go, you got an open combo right there. Pretty easy to execute. In some cases, like the example I'm showing you on the screen, the enemy will one touch. So that basically means they only tapped once. So that means they're able to cancel the tap animation at close range. So if you then go in for an attack, they would actually vanish step you straight after that, and then you could be in a bad situation. So you have to be wary that there are negatives to this. Like, you might float too much and you might be against a hasty person. So if you're facing a hasty person, they're actually going to come real hard, real aggressive at you. So even if you're gliding, it's not going to benefit you, because in most cases someone's coming at you straight away regardless. So you're doing the extra second to kind of bait them out, but in reality they're going a second before that, so you actually wasting time is not going to benefit you. So it depends on the caliber player that you're playing, but in most cases if you're trying to get up to 10k, top 10k, there's really good players up there, so you're going to actually want to utilize this very well so that you can get ahead of everyone. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. I'm going to do like a part 2 to this video, but it's not going to be a part 2. It's just going to be on perfect vanishes specifically, because I feel like that deserves its own video. But in general, floating is like a real good mechanic to actually utilize in the PvP battlefield. If you're not using it, you're actually lagging behind, and there's so many people that are just going to get the one up on you simply because of that. Everybody is like human, we're not robots. We all react to movements that we see, especially in games. We're working on our fingers. Sometimes our fingers might move by itself, we might just jump, it happens. So as you continuously keep playing, you're going to get better and start realizing these things. It's kind of like when you're playing the game. An example would be like, I don't know, if you just enter the avatar state or something like that, all the motions are just gonna all of a sudden appear in slow motion, because you're just a goat now. Like, someone's punching you at fast speed, nah, I see it, because you've been training this technique, and now that you're good at it, you're just gonna get the one up on everybody. So hopefully this is actually useful for you. If you don't do it already, you're gonna see a big difference in your actual playstyle, especially against good players that are really patient, really patient. Like, this is for patient enemies. It will basically just help you so much. Like, I'm probably gassing it up, running in circles, but you guys get the gist. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button on this grind to 15k at the time I'm recording this video. All my socials are on the left. This is the YouTube channel, but we've got Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below, so make sure to check me out on all of those. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that. My name is Zakashi, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Please, lend me your energy!